Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, and this is Friday, September 8th, 2023, and this is a live news show for movie fans where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including a few stories of people behaving badly. Yes, Jimmy Fallon, he's come under fire. Jessica Chastain has said some things. Ethan and Maya Hawke are going to be in a movie together. We got an update in that Crow remake. The Nun 2 arrives today. Yes, The Nun 2 opens up in theaters. We'll be doing my review for that. But we start off today's show by talking about that Monarch trailer, the teaser that just dropped. And my reaction's up on the channel right now, guys, so go check that out. But we'll go through this. 10 episodes on Apple TV Plus. Yes. Set after the battle between Godzilla and the Titans revealing that monsters are real, follows one family's journey to uncover its buried secrets and a legacy linking them to Monarch. Christopher Eredal is General Puckett. Kurt Russell is Lee Shaw. Yeah. Now his son also plays Lee Shaw, right? But at a different age, Wyatt Russell. It looks like there's only one episode, so maybe it'll just be in a flashback. Now, it's saying only 2 episodes here for Kurt Russell. So is he not the main character? Let's just go over to the teaser and take a look at some of the snapshots coming November 17th. I was pleasantly surprised by this. And immediately, once you see Kurt Russell in this, he just, you know, he carries that certain level of gravitas. Even if he's in movies like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, he still brings it, you know? He still brings his A game. And it just takes it to that level of like, okay, now I'm interested. And it started off, I thought was his kind of like narration, and there's the younger version of him. And I just thought it was really cool that it was going to be like his son's playing the younger version of him. That's cool. At least they didn't go for that de-aging stuff. Thank you. Yes, there are other ways that people will accept a younger version of a character. But what caught me by surprise was that John Goodman, I don't know if John Goodman came to shoot some extra footage or something, or because I thought, yeah, he died rather gruesomely in Kong Skull Island. So we're getting a little bit of some cohesion now with this between the series, right? Because obviously we see Godzilla in this, but this is Kong. This is from Kong Skull Island. And it's good to see John Goodman, another actor who brings, some weight to it. Now, this is a little bit questionable CGI. Now, this takes place after Godzilla 1 and King of Monsters. So it's in between those 2 movies. This is after the Mutos destroyed San Francisco. And it's cool just to see, little Easter eggs in here. You have them like painting the Godzilla thing on the bomb and stuff like that. It's just cool. Now, I'm not as well versed as some people will be, so I don't know if, like, say, if this person was in King of Monsters or not. It's possible. If I were to try to figure that out, I guess I would go over to the IMDb and say, okay, was Mary Yamamoto, was she ever in any previous Godzilla stuff? And then I would have to go through all of the IMDb's, and it doesn't look like she is. What about Kyoko Kudo? The Wolverine? Good Father? No. Maybe they play characters that show up in those movies. I don't know. Shota Tsuji? Snake Eyes? Superman and Lois? No. So just on a cursory, I'm sure I could be skipping it. I could be just going over it. But as a teaser, just a quick little teaser, there's the bomb. I thought it looked and felt genuine. Like that. That's crazy, right? Evacuation route. Godzilla evacuation route. If you saw that in the airport, it's kind of like, yeah, they're just having fun. But like, there's something about just the way that they shot this, that the tone of it, you feel like something like that is absolutely 100% necessary. So you buy it, you sell it, right? Yeah, it's sold to you. You bought this. And there's another one of the big Titan monsters. What is that, like a turtle one or something? Or a crab one? Let me just see if I can take a look at that. Yeah, that's the crab one, right? And we see that in, was it King of Monsters? Fighting another big crab kind of thing. Wow. So that, no, those were on Skull Island, right? That's when John Goodman dies, right? And a bunch of those guys get skewered by it. Okay. But this is different. This is like a big turtle one. So that's definitely interesting, for sure. And that is a boat that gets thrown up on land. It's going to crush some people. It's a teaser. So, and then of course we see the big man himself there, Godzilla wrecking the Golden Gate Bridge there, which we have seen before. But yeah, what I like about this too is because we just got the teaser recently for Godzilla -1, right? And it was a different tone and feel in that. And you can tell that this is the American version of Godzilla because it's the same CGI model. The Godzilla -1 model it's different. The mouth is a little bit different and it's got more ridges on the head. But that's fine. We still understand the shape that they're going for. And you got to show Godzilla in this. If you got it, you got to show us. So Monarch Legacy of Monsters, Apple TV Plus. I thought it looked pretty good, man. November 17th on Apple TV Plus, and I think Apple TV Plus is only like $8 or something. I'm gonna sign up, and we will be doing watch-alongs for this for sure. I don't see why we wouldn't, unless they give us copyright strikes or something. That's the only way that I can think of it. But what did you guys think about that teaser for Godzilla? Let me know in the comments below. Arglass says Monarch seems to have plenty of meat on the bone. Looking forward to it. Godzilla wrecking shop, cool. Yeah. I thought it looked pretty good. So, guys, you're watching Mirror Domain's Movie Talk channel. We are live 10:30 a.m. Eastern. 3 times a week usually. We're up. We do other stuff here on the channel as well. There are all my other social media handles that you can follow. Follow us on Twitch because we watch movies over there as well, guys, and I can leave the sound on over there. And we do full watch-alongs over there. We also play games like Street Fighter 6 and Final Fantasy. There are my other social media handles. Like those full ranked videos that we put up here on YouTube. You can find extended versions of those on TikTok and Instagram. Okay, it's Friday, guys, so the Nun 2 opens up today. Let me just set up my channel here, and we'll be talking about the Nun 2 because I do want to talk about it. Let me just make sure that everything is set up because I didn't do this beforehand because I was watching the Monarch trailer. Hey, it happens. Okay. Review. Score sheet. Excellent. That looks good. Turn off that music. The Nun 2 is out right now, guys, and here's my quick review on it. I saw it in theaters, and it's a movie that does have some problems. Is it enjoyable? If you like The Nun, and you like that lore with Valak, I think you will find things in here that you like. It does have its problems, though, so we'll talk about this in this review. The Nun 2. Did I like it? I like stuff about the lore, and Tessa Farmiga there, she's back as Sister Irene, and she's the main draw for me. The nun stuff in the background is kind of, I like that stuff because I'm a horror fan, but surprisingly, I'm on board with this Sister Irene character because she's kind of like psychic, like got medium abilities, right? She can commune or like she senses the spirit, so I like all that angle. 1956 France, a priest is murdered and evil is spreading. The sequel to the worldwide smash hit follows Sister Irene as she once again comes face to face with Valak, the demon nun. Yes. Now, Jonas Bloquet is back in this as Maurice Frenchie, and I was pleasantly surprised by that when I saw this in the theater. I just recently rewatched The Nun, and my reaction to that will be up on the channel soon, hopefully by the end of the weekend, because we watched that over on our Twitch channel that you can follow at Mirror Domains. We watched that movie fully over there. I do that stuff here on that channel, guys. Hey, if you like movies, come join us here, because you will be able to interact with us for sure and have your say about what you think about these movies. So, getting back into The Nun. Because I just watched the first Nun movie, I was well versed with the characters and stuff like that. I knew who Sister Irene was, and it was curious to see how they were going to tie it all in. And for the most part, they do a really good job of picking up at a very logical place. Now, do you need to see the first Nun movie to understand what's going on in this one? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. The acting. So, yeah, from all these girls and stuff like that, because it happens like at a school, it's good. Like, that's something I said in my initial reaction, but it's shot dark. So when it comes for me to rank the cinematography on this, even in the theater, when it's like all dark around you, there's going to be certain shots that are going to be hard to see, because see, like this was all dark, and it's just not in scenes like this. It's like when they're walking around hallways and stuff, the director chose to do silhouette lighting, right? So it's like, you can light something like this properly when they're standing in a room, but I think he was trying to use natural lighting and to help sell the ambiance and the mood, which it's kind of like, well, I just paid $10 to go see this movie. I'd like to see their faces, not just the silhouette of them. So I'm definitely going to dock it when it comes time for that, when I'm doing my review. So acting, Tessa is pretty good in this, and Storm Reed had a much bigger role in it than I thought. Now, the directing could be that lighting stuff. Pacing-wise, it does go through a few lulls. Directing was serviceable for the most part. And cinematography. Let's talk about, I'm going to rank cinematography right now. It was serviceable, but I can't give it quite a 0. Cinematography and story are out of a possible 1 point each. So I'll give that a 0.5. We'll come back to this this ranking here in just a minute when I finish articulating my thoughts on just the presentation of this film. Yeah, Storm Reed I thought was only going to be like a small cameo in this. She has a much larger role in this. And as you can see here, the grain here, this is because they upped the gain on the photo quality of this afterwards. Like, this is normally much darker, and you can see like they did that here because of when you adjust pictures like in Photoshop or something, you adjust the grain too high, you get that gritty look. Now, it doesn't look gritty like that in the theater because you are watching it at its correct color correction, right? But for the most part, yeah, it's dark. And just watching the first one, I can say that one was also dark, like lit dark. So it must have been the style. That's why I say style. I liked all the stuff with Valak showing up in pictures and stuff like that. All of that was creepy, but at certain times that felt a little bit too shoehorned in. You'll know what I mean when I see it. Was it a complete awful experience in the theater? No, it wasn't. Because I do like this lore, the nun character, and Tessa Farmiga there. She delivered. So what are people saying about this? Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people have said. 51% by the critics. That's not awful. Like, the first Nun is like, what, 22 or 23% or something? Audience hasn't seen this yet. I don't know how it's going to rank at the box office. It is horror. It's not really all that scary. It's got jump scares. If the visage of Valak and the Nun creep you out, then of course this will give you chills. And there's also another monster that shows up in this too that may get some people, because it was creepy and we didn't see it that much. So I kind of sort of spoilery told you something there, but I'm trying to sell you on all the good things in here so that you don't say, if you are curious and you are going to go to it, you are going to get value out of this, right? That's what I'm trying to convey here. So some snapshot reviews here. Snapshot. Somebody who liked it from the Hollywood Reporter. One could argue that there's way too much screaming going on. I mean, after you've seen the demon 4 or 5 times, is it really that shocking? Yeah, but that's a minor complaint. Yeah, once again, as I said, some people are really creeped out with the Valak imagery, and it is creepy for sure. And they did satisfy one of my needs that I had from the first film. What does Valak want? What's the end game there, right? We know that James Wan, who created it, wants to eventually have it tied back into the Conjuring mythos. But since we're so far back in time, like the 1950s, it's going to be curious to see how that all fits in. It is. And we know, regardless of how well this one does at the box office, there's going to be a Nun 3. There is. Or they're going to tie it up in a Conjuring movie of some kind. New York Times didn't like it. Scene after scene builds fear and tension, and then a monster appears, and then not much else in most cases. Ooh, William Bibiani. Its many inane moments sound entertaining when you list them all on page, but they're so spread out through this movie that the entertainment is usually quite scarce. Now, maybe I went into this with a little bit more of an appreciation just having watching the first Nun, so I know who Frenchie was. They reintroduced the character. They give you a little bit more backstory as to where and what he's doing in this movie and why he's in this movie. So I found all of that more intriguing on my side. Somebody said in my initial reaction comment section that the first one wasn't that scary. It's really not. Yeah, she kills people, but it's kind of like, it is what it is. So let's get into trying to solidify this score here. I'm not quite as low as a 5 out of 10 for the Nun. But let's finish up this ranking here, and see where it falls. Story-wise, I found like every story has an interesting premise at least. Was it super like you got to check it out? The story is this invigorating. No, it'll come and go. And my initial reaction, I said, you can wait for streaming services. This is not a must see in theaters other than Tessa Farmiga and her performance. I want to see more of her for sure. Valak, I think, is going to be, just have more stories with the Sister Irene character, not going up against the Nun. I'll see more of that. Kind of like what they're doing with the Pope's exorcist character. I'd see more of that. The score was serviceable, but was it good enough to buy? I don't know. As I said, cinematography and score are out of a possible 1 point each. Watchability factor. As I said, it's not terrible. It's not awful. So that I recommend that you at least watch it once. That's 5.5 right there. Would I watch it again? I'm not itching to. So maybe I'm around that 5-point score. Nun 2. Could I be any more lenient towards anything? Like, could I be any more generous, James? Would I watch it the second time? I wouldn't be adverse to. I can't. It's a watch once kind of thing. And I think that's where I got to leave it, guys. I'm thinking, could I give a little bit more to the directing? Could I give a little bit more to the story? And I would be grasping at straws and trying to justify those straws to you guys, where it would become a little nonsensical. So 5.5 out of 10 for Nun 2 is the best that I can do. Yeah, not Vera Farmiga, Tessa Farmiga. Go check it out for her. That's the main selling point for the Nun 2. All right, guys, did you go out and see this movie? Are you going to? Let me know if you did, and let's talk about it in the comments below. And as I said, we do watch movies over on the Twitch channel, guys, at Mirror Domains. We do movie news at least 3 times a week at 10:30 a.m. here on the channel Mirror Domains. There are my other social media handles. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. We do live shows, so we do live chats. Hourglass Vikings in live chats. So basically, the Nun 2, I would see more in a podcast. Or you could watch it with us on streaming service someday when we watch it on Twitch. There you go. Guys, that's it. If you liked what you've seen, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains. All right, so that will be cut out later and put up on the channel. I think that worked okay. I want to be able to bounce back and forth between the score sheet and the IMDb pages, which is hard for me because I only have 2 monitors. I would have to put a 3rd monitor to try to coordinate it all and have it a little bit more seamless. I hope that seemed a little bit more seamless for you guys. Jawan is another big one. I'm just going to refresh this to see if it's changed. No, it hasn't. I know that Jeremy Johns just posted his review. I haven't watched it yet. Or was it Chris Stuckman? He posted his. I know Perry Nemiroff posted hers. I wonder if she's put hers up on Rotten Tomatoes yet. Because she's a genre fan and she respects horror. I haven't watched her review yet, so if she's up here, I do want to read what she said. We'll just give it a quick glance. If I don't see it, then I don't see it. Maybe it's just not posted yet. Matt Donato, her partner in crime for her YouTube channel. It's a sequel that copies previous Conjureverse entries, lacks discipline, and overstays its welcome like a rough draft of something tighter, trimmed, and better focused. So Matt Donato didn't like it. If he's up there, Perry's there. She liked it. Okay, good. I always trust hers. She gave it a 4 out of 5. She gave it an 8 out of 10. Really, Perry. A rock-solid new addition to the Conjuring universe, one that embraces the existing series style, then pushes it further via hugely creative scare scenes and some exciting new additions to the franchise lore. So she's sort of echoing some of the sentiments and things that I pointed out. So yeah, good for her. Good. I always trust her. The transition to score sheet worked for me. Chris and Jeremy have both posted their reviews. Okay, good. Yeah. All right, guys, let's get back into the movie news. We're on the horror vibe, and it's going to be a horror vibe show today anyway. Saw 10 is coming out at the end of the month, guys. Saw 10. But Saw 1 and 2 will be returning to the theaters for a double feature ahead of Saw 10 premiere. Well, that's good. And I can see why they're doing this, because if you don't know, Saw 10 is a prequel, and it happens in between Saw 1 and Saw 2, which is going to be kind of weird. You think they would de-age them, but nah, they didn't. They didn't bother with that riff-raff. You don't need to, guys. We understand the time period that is going to take place. And basically, it's a story of him trying to go to Mexico to get cured of his cancer. And of course he doesn't. You know that. We know from watching the Saw series that he doesn't. He gets basically duped. The mission to Mexico is a fraud. And then he's like, okay, you guys tried to defraud me. I'm coming after you. You messed with the wrong person. I'm Jigsaw. And you're going to get your comeuppance. So that's why I want to watch Saw 10. Because, yeah, you want to see him get the upper hand on these grifters, right? So, yeah. And then the re-releases here. Here's the schedule of the re-releases of the Saw 1 and 2 re-releases. It's going to be mostly in the States, it looks like. I don't know if it's going to be here. I don't think the Canadian theaters will list that just yet, because it's still a little bit away, a few weeks away. Let me pull up my listings here. I doubt that they'll show it this early. I know that I'll be able to get advance tickets for maybe Saw 10. No, it jumps from September 20th to October 13th. So not just yet. But that would be an interesting double feature. Actually, I would prefer to watch Saw and then Saw 10 and then Saw 2. It's going to have a weird watch structure when all said and done. But I have high hopes for Saw 10. What do you guys think about that? Would you go see Saw 1 and 2 in the theaters again as a double feature? The good thing about those movies is that they're quick. And Danny Glover's in the first one. Cary Elwes. That first one, the ending, it's epic. It's iconic. Put James Wan on the map. We just talked about James Wan in the NUN 2 review there. So go check that out. I'll check it out. If I got time, by all means. Kevin Williamson, creator of Scream, talks about Neve Campbell. As soon as I hear her name, I always, okay, curious. Kevin Williamson, pay Neve Campbell what she's worth. Yeah, of course. Now, I champion her work. She's a great actress. She grew up here in Ontario, didn't she, or something? I think that's cool. Anyway, Neve Campbell. Now, people say, or may say because of the name Kevin Williamson, that he's going to bat for her because he wants her back for Scream 7, which is always a possibility, but I hope that they don't bring back Sydney's character because they did a good passing of the torch with Scream 5. It's now Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera's character's story to continue. That's the story that we want to see. We don't need to bring back Sydney, and especially don't bring her back just to kill her off. Enough with that killing off of the main characters from the previous installments. BS that the studios are all hung up on. Anyway, so during Happy Horror Times podcast, Williamson said this, quote, I totally respect her opinion. I know exactly where she's coming from. I know her well. I love her and adore her, and that's what she said. It's right for her. I love everyone involved in Scream, and all I can say is pay her the money. That's what I would do. I would give her the money. Yeah, because Neve has come out and said, well, for Scream 6, it was like, they're not going to pay me what I feel like what I'm worth, and I'm not going to bother to sign up for this picture. And there it is. And hey, it was for the best because we got Kirby back. And that's the way I like it. Do it like that. Oh my God. She still is stunning. And there was like a fan expo in Toronto like a week and a half ago or something where she was going to be there, and it was going to be like $90 to get like a selfie with her. I should have pulled that trigger. I should have done that. What is all this stuff? God. I'm trying to get down to the comments section, and there's like diet pills and grotesque bellies. Joe Blow, you got to work on these ads, man. This is gross. You're grossing me out. Ugh. What do you guys think? Neve Campbell, should she get her fair share and pay? My friend in the live chat says, hey, yes, I'm going. Art Glass says, paying Neve Campbell is one thing. If the script is subpar, then it's no win situation. I wonder, did Jenna Ortega get more than what they offered Neve Campbell? I think so. Jenna Ortega's the hot name right there, where it's kind of like she's coming off of Wednesday, which was huge. So yeah, and she's got a bigger part, obviously, in the movie, right? Okay. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Yeah, we're getting a sequel to that movie. It's going to be, it's tapped into that B-movie schlock vibe, where it's kind of like it was a smaller budget, but people went out to see it, just like the Terrifier series, right? Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey sequel first look images revealed. Currently in production, the film is up to micro-budget British slasher that cost under $100 million to make, earned 5.2 globally. And with that kind of ratio, that kind of turnaround, hey, it cost under 100,000 and it made 5.2. That's fantastic, right? Of course we're going to get a sequel. I wish more movies did this, man. Why can't the studio just greenlight a whole bunch? You've got scripts. Say, here's $1 million. We're going to greenlight 10 projects. Here's your budget of $100 million. Go out and make it and put it out in theaters that can see if we can tap into this ratio. If just one of them can make that kind of a turnaround, that's worth the investment. That's a better risk assessment that I would say is better than dumping $350 million into a big Indiana Jones sequel that nobody wants to watch. Oof. Anyway, let's take a look at some of these first images. Okay, there's one of the main characters. Is that Piglet there? Somebody who's lost his arm, or is that Pooh? I can't quite make that out. There's a witch type character, feathery type character. I don't know who that is. I never saw the first Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, so I don't know. Hopefully they did better job. Hopefully the budget allowed for a better job to work on the masks. So I heard that in the first one, when the characters would look in certain directions, you could just see like it was blatantly just a mask with, you could see the guy's chin and mouth underneath. Which was not the intention. The intention was that these were the characters, right? That's why in the trailers for it, I thought there was just going to be killers that used their masks. But we'll see. We'll see. Are you interested in seeing a Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2? Was written by Matt Leslie from the story he had co-wrote, okay, with Frack Walkerton. Whatever. Our sequel we have a substantially higher budget, so Reese is really able to create a shocking, explosive, and gore-filled movie. I truly think people will dig what we are creating. Well, here's the thing. You got to be cognizant of this as a filmmaker, that when you make something like this, yeah, it had good turnaround, but it wasn't because people found it scary. It was because it was gory. It was that grindhouse B-movie kind of schlock horror where if somebody's going to get their arm cut off because we don't have the budget for it, when you're cutting through it, you can tell that it's just a prosthetic kind of thing. It's laughable. It's silly. Of course, the premise of it is completely silly. You have to be aware of that. So this is the kind of thing where if you try to take it in a serious tone, it'll mostly end up backfiring on you. And we've seen examples of that in the past. Artglass says they should have made Winnie the Pooh smaller in stature and more like Ted than looking like Heath Ledger Joker henchman in disguise. Well, he's brutish too, right? Yeah. I don't know. It's in production. We'll see what happens when that comes along. When a first teaser comes out, we'll watch it here on the channel for sure. The Crow reboot. Something that I'm looking forward to. Bill Skarsgård is taking over as the Draven character, Eric Draven. And I think he's going to knock it out of the park. He was Pennywise. He was just last seen in John Wick Chapter 4. He's a good actor. Yeah, the Skarsgårds, Stellan Skarsgård is their father. Alexander's his brother. Good family of actors there. The Crow reboot with Bill Skarsgård takes flight at Lionsgate as part of an 8-figure domestic deal. So it's got its distribution there. Lionsgate. Good. Good to see some motion on that. It has wrapped, so it is all in the can. It wrapped before the strikes all took place. So it is in the post-production stage. And now we've got the distributor, Lionsgate. So that's cool. Still no release date. Still no production photos of him in the makeup or anything that I've been able to find. I just hope that it does well. Here's the thing about the first Crow movie, guys. Brandon Lee was no thespian. You don't watch it because of his acting. He does have some questionable lines in there. You watched it because of the scenario. It was a revenge thing. And when it's a revenge thing, you got to set up the bad guys. The bad guys have to pop. They got to jump off the page like T-Bird, Skank, Top Dollar, right? It's that chorus of evil around him that you want to see those guys get their comeuppance, but they've got character and they've got heart. And that's something that the RoboCop reboot didn't have. Clarence Bodiger and his crew all had character in the first RoboCop movie because of the actors portraying them. Yeah, they had small parts, but each character, the actors behind them just made them shine, right? It made them like, you want to see those guys get their comeuppance. And I hope that they get that right in the Crow reboot there with Stellan Skarsgård, because that Joel Kinnaman, Michael Keaton, RoboCop they didn't have the bad guys in there. It was like, oh, there's RoboCop, but I'm not really rooting for him to do what exactly, right? So hopefully they got that mix right for the Crow reboot. As soon as I get any kind of an announcement of a release date, I'll let you guys know for sure. I don't care. I don't know if you guys care about the script or anything like that, but just a quick little update on that. It's always worth knowing because we're movie fans, obviously. Ethan Hawke wasn't a creepy dad during daughter's Maya Wildcats. Ooh, sexy. What? Maya Hawke's still pretty young, isn't she? Well, I guess she's old enough to film those scenes. But, ew. What in the shades of Game of Thrones is going on here? So, yeah, Ethan Hawke is directing a new movie, and it has Maya Hawke in it. I think they both star in it. If you didn't know, like, obviously, because of the last name, father-daughter. She's in Stranger Things. How old is she? 25. Oh, she's 25. She's 25? Wow. Okay. She's going to have a bright career. We just last saw her in Oppenheimer. Let's pull up her IMDb, and that'll tell us the movie that she's in. Not Do Revenge. Actually, I kind of want to watch Do Revenge with you guys. Is it The Kill Room? Yes. No, it's not The Kill Room. Revolver? No. Just go to the main article, James. Wildcats. That'd be too weird for me, man. Here's my daughter. I'm gonna film a scene with her getting it on. No dice. Recalled filming intimate Wildcat scenes. As Ethan put it, we needed to take care of Raphael and Cooper, he said. I think it was weird for them. Maya and I were so comfortable with it, I couldn't care less. Well, they are actors. They understand the situation. A family of actors again, the Hawks. Uma Thurman is the mother, so it's kind of like, okay. We made sure to have intimacy coordinator on set for them so they felt safe and comfortable and not like they were being spied on, which to her father interrupted by some creepy dad. Yeah, that would be kind of creepy though, right? Because you got to get into character. You got to give a performance, but your old man is sitting there watching you. There is that, eesh. So maybe it's already out. Maestro? No, Wildcat, right there. 2023, that's what it is. Wildcat. Follows the life of writer Flannery O'Connor while she was struggling to publish her first novel. Ethan Hawke directs, and I think this is going to be at TIFF, guys, which is this weekend. It's already started. Laura Linney, right? An interesting project for sure. Vincent D'Onofrio's in this. Must be small role because he's not great actor. Great actor. And Alessandro Nivola's in this. Pollux Troy. He was also in Jurassic Park 3. You'll recognize this guy if you saw him. But Maya Hawke, good actress. I want to see more from that. It's just weird though, man. What do you think about those about that headline? Hourglass says, I am obsessed with The Crow, being a Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee fan beforehand. I'll be watching the reboot on the biggest screen possible. FYI, Brandon Lee was great in Rapid Fire. Was that the one with Dolph Lundgren? He was in he was in one with Dolph Lundgren, right? Was that one? It's like that's one of the tragedy ones where Brandon Lee, his death, because I think he would have evolved as an actor. He would have acquired experience, and he's the kind of guy that once he started to dive into it, just like a Channing Tatum or something, to develop the craft like Batista has done. He worked with different directors, get the experience in there, right? He would have been a great career, and the way that he went out to senseless tragedy like that, it's just, I don't believe all the conspiracy theories in there and stuff like that. If you wanted to know, I just believe there was incompetence by people, stagehands loading the guns and stuff. Showdown in Little Tokyo was the Dolph Lundgren one. Yeah, I like that one too. That was good. I must have seen Rapid Fire. I just can't quite remember it. Remember it. Let me pull it up on IMDb. Let me see if it rings a bell. When a student, Jake Lowe, witnesses a killing, he finds himself caught between two feuding drug lords. Sounds very familiar. Powers Booth. It doesn't ring a bell. Now, I watched a lot of these movies in the video store. I did. So it's quite possible that I did. Francis Cho. Francois Cho. He was able to handle the action. For sure. Let's see if I can get any more still shots from the movie. It's just promotional stuff. And he was ripped. He was he followed his father with being lean, not putting on too much muscle because he wanted to be fast, right? If you get too bulky, then you lose speed. He knew that. I respected him for that. I respected both him and his father for the ethic of putting in time and work. Such a loss. Bummer, man. All right. Where are we at? Jessica Chastain. I'll always talk about her. Jessica Chastain was nervous to promote Memory at Venice Film Festival during strikes. Some people on my team advised me against it. Now, this is something I'm getting really tired of. Hey, there's a certain level of promotion that should be allowed during the strikes. If you're at a festival and you're at a panel and somebody asks you something, you shouldn't be like, no, I'm not going to talk about it because I'm part of the strike kind of thing. No, give them a quick quote and don't feel bad about it. What I also don't like is other people in the unions coming after them, shaming them, like, how dare you? Like what recently happened with Selena Gomez. She tweeted something in promotion of, what was it, Only Murders in the Building or something? And they were like, you shouldn't do that. That's frowned upon. It's like, yeah, how dare you? You don't stand with the union if you do. It's like, give it a rest, guys. It's not that big of a deal. It's not going to hurt the overall thing. What's hurting is the cheddar. It's the money, right? For both sides. And I wish they wouldn't come after her for this. But, it is what it is at these festivals. She showed up. If she's part of the producing or directing part of it, then yeah, you should be allowed to do it. But she said, I was very nervous coming, Chastain said, who was wearing black SAG-AFTRA on strike t-shirt, revealing that there were actually some people on my team who advised me against it. Yeah. You're not crossing the line doing that. I don't feel like these small little things, it doesn't hurt the main cause. But it's kind of like I could see the point being made too that, okay, James, if you let that little thing go, then you're just going to open up the floodgates for everybody else to do it. And then sooner or later, they lose ground. They lose their position. Okay, I get that. But the few minor things here and there, I don't think they should be crucified for. I think there's some overcompensation on that other side as well. I do. Of course, you know that I do stand up for the smaller man. I do. For the writers and the actors. I stand up for them. All right. Let's get into a topic that I usually don't do here on the channel. It's people behaving badly. It was kind of hard to not see this. It splashed all over the trades this morning. It was all over Twitter last night as well. Jimmy Fallon apologizes to the Tonight Show staff after bombshell report of being, well, toxic and having a toxic work environment. Here's the thing with these shows, and it happened to Ellen, that you just get too comfortable. Yeah, you're the host of the show. But with these kinds of shows, they're going to be around a lot longer than the person who does them. Like, The Tonight Show will be around after Jimmy Fallon leaves. And when your head gets a little bit too big, a little bit too comfortable, it's kind of like, you don't need to shout at people, for God's sakes. Yeah. Now, that's what happens, and it creates the toxic work environment. But he apologized. So he's trying to make amends, right? And I respect that. Quote, I am sorry if I embarrassed you. I never set out to create that type of atmosphere at the show. I think sometimes I'm working with the best of the best. You guys are the top of the game. So he's trying to give a little bit of flattery there to try to smooth the waters. He admitted to have done embarrassing things in the past. I want this show to be fun. It should be inclusive for everybody. It should be funny. It should be the best show, the best people. I just wanted to say I miss you guys. So yeah, some people have called him erratic at work, suggests that he was inebriated. Yeah, I heard those reports too, that he has fought. I don't know if he's come out and said it, but I do believe that it's possible that he has fought the bottle. And it happens. That's part of the experience of the glitz and the glamour in the party life that happens afterwards. It's kind of like, yeah, you go for a beer afterward. You celebrate. But then those celebratory beers after every show now? Oh, and now it's the weekend, so let's just completely let loose, and then it just snowballs and gets out of control, and it happens. And if he's got problems with that, I hope he gets that addressed, because help is out there. At least he apologized, so that's a step in the right direction for that. And I think he's in a position that people will come around on that. They'll forgive him, as long as it doesn't just snowball, right? People behaving badly. This is also splashed all over the pages. Danny Masterson sentenced to 30 years to life in prison after his conviction of that big R word. 2 counts of it, apparently, right? 2 counts. He did it twice. I don't even want to look at him, guys. Here's what I want to say about this. Does it taint the legacy of, like, that 70s show? People like that show. It was funny. It does. This is a case where you do something as egregious as this. Get him off the screen. And 30 years, steep. That's steep. But for what he did, I think for the victims, they should feel satisfied with that. I feel sorry for the rest of the cast of the 70s show now, because it's one of those things where if it's on TV, do you skip the channel? I'll be like, skip the channel. I feel bad for the rest of the cast. And I know the situation here where people will be going up to Mila Kunis and stuff and saying, how do you feel about Danny Masterson? It's like, don't ask them that. How do you think they feel? It's like, yeah, we worked with them. We didn't know that at the time. Or I feel like I went to bat for him once and stood up for, and I was like, I feel bad about it. And it's going to be hard for them. So please, yeah, it's gross. It's ew. But justice matters. And it looks like justice has got its fair shake there. So I'm not going to bore you with details of the case or anything like that. I'm sure they're probably going to appeal. You know how all that works. Yes, plans to appeal, which errors occurred in the case. And I hope if this gets thrown out in a technicality in the way that things were handled, like I hate, this is part of the U.S. justice system that I hate. Oh, I didn't sign these papers properly. Then that ruins the evidence that is damning and proved our case. So we can't use that evidence anymore because it wasn't handled properly, even though it was the correct evidence that proves that he did it. If it wasn't handled properly, then it can't be admitted. It's like, get out of here. He obviously did it. I hate that part about the justice. And I understand that there's rules in there for the cases where it's like, if it was mishandled for nefarious purposes, right? I get that, but it's kind of like, I hate when it's, anyway. That just opens up a whole ball of wax. You can see it gets my feathers ruffled, and it's why I don't like to talk about topics like this. But it is what it is, and it's part of entertainment news. That's what we handle here on this channel. And on a very minor level too. Regardless of justice system, Danny Masters' life is over. Yeah, he's done, and and I wish if these kinds of things happen, like Kevin Spacey, call it a career, man. You're done acting. Stop it. Stop trying to make it work. Go work in a flower shop somewhere. Drive an Uber, Kevin Spacey, and stuff. You're done. Bryan Singer. That's just no. Anyway, where are we at? Is that it for today? We can't end it on a bummer, on a downer note like that. Let's go into some Twitterverse. I thought I had some hit or miss, but I guess I didn't. Didn't pull any extra articles. All right. Christopher Abbott. Good actor. Why is he shirtless? Please, for God's sakes. Man. Lily Reinhart. Ariana Greenblatt. A lot of purple going around. Yeah. Is that mauve? No, not mauve. Purple. Violet. Wonka. It's going to be on the cover of Total Film. This movie's still slated for release this year, guys. Musical, right? See what kind of pipes, singing voice that Timothée Chalamet has. The Changeling is now streaming on Apple TV Plus. Apple TV Plus is something I'm going to watch. 1 year ago, Blonde debuted at Venice Film Festival. Yeah, that movie, let's not talk about that one. Bodies, Rachel Senoi. Okay. Don't know why we're looking at that. Sitting in bars with cake. What the heck is that? Barry Keoghan stars in the final season of Top Boy, now streaming on Netflix. Top Boy? I don't even know what the heck that is. But I do like Barry Keoghan, so it's kind of like,
Yeah, he's himself inside.
On Netflix, huh?
Yeah, he's in a communal room.
Okay, I'll chat to you later, yeah?
See you, babe.
Alright.
Huh. I can't watch too much of these trailers. I got slapped on the wrist yesterday for watching too much of the Twitch trailers. It was a heavy trailer look. New look at David Tennant in Doctor Who. Oh, is he going to be in a cameo? Isn't it Shuta Gatwa is the new Doctor Who? Is that like the passing of the torch? David Tennant can be heard in the latest season of Ahsoka, right? Sitting in bars with cake. That's a weird title. But the promise of cake does intrigue me. Sitting in a bar, not too much. As he downs the rest of his coffee. All right. Hey, it happens. Vanity Fair's first look at Dream Scenario starring Nicolas Cage. Dream Scenario. Huh. Looks like he's wearing them either shaved or something. Shaved his balding area. Nicolas Cage is still good, man. He's still worthwhile watching as an actor. He can still bring it. Michael Cera. Oh, cool. You know, he has, if you don't know, guys, I detested, that's putting it mildly, I hated Scott Pilgrim. But he has won me over since in his performances. In Molly's Game, he was really good. I liked him in Barbie. He does have some dramatic chops. First look at Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. Yeah, we did that. Reptile, Benicio del Toro, Justin Timberlake. Yep, new poster. The trailer's out for that one too. We watched that. As you can see here, guys, on the side, those topics were trending. I don't know why Martin Short's trending. Black Dog. There's Jessica Chastain. Yeah, I know somebody who did her makeup once. Apparently she's a really good person too. She's somebody whose her head just hasn't gone like that. And this story proves it, because she was worried about promoting her film. She's aware of her actions, which if you're a narcissist, then you don't care about your actions, right? She does. She's empathetic, right? Empathetic. She cares. And if you follow her on social media, she seems like a really cool person. So, gotta love the red hair. Black Dog. I don't know what that is. To premiere at LFF. Paul Mescal, Emma Corwin, Daniel Kaluuya. That's quite the loud jacket. Interesting. Is that supposed to be like a flower or something? I don't know. Haley Lou Richardson. Ooh, Emma Watson. Yeah, she's coming out of her little hiatus of acting. She'll be back in front of the cameras soon. Good for her. I'd work with her. That would be awesome. I detested Napoleon Dynamite, but the final 20 minutes won me over. Scott Pilgrim wasn't too bad. The thing about Scott Pilgrim was that it was just a rinse and repeat of the same scenario over and over and over. And it's like, guys, how is this interesting? And I get it. But it was overhyped. It was overhyped for me. That's what ruined it for me. All right. I think that's pretty much all I got. I don't have any other trailers. Naiad trailer. I don't think we need to look at it. A Naiad trailer. All right. Yeah, it is Friday, guys. So thank you very much for joining me on this. We will be on Twitch later on today, continuing our Final Fantasy VII journey. And then I gotta start editing the NUN reaction. It's gonna be a quick edit because it's all pretty much in the can. I just gotta chop out all the parts where I'm not talking. So there you go. That's the way it's been today, guys. Are you going to go and watch The Nun too? And what do you think about some of these headlines? Let me know in the comments below, and we will talk about it. We will be on Twitch during the weekends, guys. And as I said, I have to reiterate this on Monday. I don't know if there's going to be a show, but we will be on Tuesday for sure. If it is going to be on Monday, it won't be till late, like 9 p.m. my time. But I do want to go over the box office numbers at some point. And if it is, maybe it'll be on Twitch. I don't know. I'll try it out on Twitch late night. Movie news on Twitch late night. Who knows? We'll figure it out. Enjoy your weekend, guys. See you next time on Mirror Domains.